Alert 4 at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Stark.
I'm Samantha Jones. We begin with a problem plaguing parts of the St. Louis metro for decades, beginning with the development of the first nuclear bomb in the 1940s. Turns out waste from that project became a ticking time bomb.
The feds finding new areas of concern in Florissant. The Army Corps of Engineers tonight focusing in on a group of homes on Cades Cove.
That's where we find First Alert 4's Russell Kinsall. Russell, this is the first time people are being forced out of their homes because of this contamination.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I was here last year whenever they did the testing that discovered the radioactive contamination on 6 properties. At the time, people were told it didn't pose a risk because it was below the surface, and they all got the impression that the Corps didn't plan on removing it from the soil. Well, now that we've learned that the Corps plans to make people move out of their homes, 6 homes, in order to have a big cleanup project, they're asking the question, what changed? Are those properties unsafe?
How would you describe the neighborhood?
It's a beautiful place to live.
Randy Adler lived on Cades Cove with his family for 20 years. They moved out in 2011. He's worried now that he's learned contamination was found in the yards of 6 homes, including where he lived, and that homeowners are being forced out to make way for a cleanup.
Absolutely, we have concerns. My children grew up in that neighborhood. We were one of the first houses built.
The Corps of Engineers took soil samples in yards and under foundations in March of 2024. At the time, it was believed that homeowners were safe and the contamination wouldn't need to be removed.
The Army Corps stated publicly that they wouldn't even have to remediate that under those homes. And now, less than a year later, here we are, they're going to buy out the homeowners. What changed?
The Corps of Engineers says homeowners are safe and that the contamination didn't have to be removed immediately, but that they always plan to remove it. Colonel Andy Paneer is in charge of the St. Louis district of the Army Corps of Engineers.
So we were building a plan on that. It is safe in its current configuration. So it's subsurface, 2.5 to 15 feet below the surface. Unless someone were to dig it up and ingest or inhale large quantities of it, there's no threat to anyone.
He said the contamination needs to be removed so that a future construction project or other digging won't disturb the contamination and pose a health risk. Paneer said the 6 property owners will be given money to buy a new house and for moving expenses, and they will maintain ownership of the property.
In order to get all of the material, some of it gets up close to the homes and potentially could be under the homes once we start the remediation. But in order to get up close to the homes, we have to demolish the homes.
Some of the homeowners have wondered whether or not the cancers and other diseases in their families have a connection to that radioactive contamination. The Corps says that it doesn't pose a risk for now. So homeowners don't have a choice about moving out of their homes. And one of them told me not only is she losing her house, she's losing her neighborhood family. The demolition and cleanup is not expected to start until sometime in the fall. Live in Florissant, Russell Kinsall, First Alert 4.
A lot of emotion.